Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles 2, where we discuss manifestation, yes, not just in the SP department, but all aspects of it. Okay, so welcome. My name is Anna. I've created Magic and Miracles. All the coaching information, you'll find it below. On this channel, I keep it very casual. So if you have any questions about that, just email me. So today I wanted to talk about black magic, witchcraft, white magic, and energy work, what I call energy work. And sincerely, my desire is to clarify some things, I think, how I understand it and what I teach. And I think also, and most importantly, to kind of maybe inform people, because I think where there is a lack of information, maybe there's some kind of a judgment, fear, etc. And I think educating yourself before you judge, I think that's essential. Um, and also understanding what is kind of like more resonating to you, um, and maybe creating a derivative, some kind of a form that you can incorporate in your practice. Okay, I've seen that happen in my coaching time and time again. So for me, I think everything has to do with the intention with which you do it. Intention is everything. Intention produces energy, and energy is information. So let me just give you an example of what I'm talking about. Let's just say in a scenario of SP, um, you find yourself in a situation, or somebody finds themselves in a situation where there's a third party, okay? And you decide, after watching 300 million videos on, like I said, magic, with a K, I think they like to spell it that way, that you're going to, um, cast a magic spell on them, right? Now, parenthesis here, big distinction, what like everybody calls a magic spell and what I call a magic spell. If you want to find out what I call a magic spell, it's a really powerful intention. And anything beyond that, you'd have to be in my coaching. I'm not going to discuss that here. But you think that, going through some ritual will bring you results. And you know what? Maybe it will. But I think you really need to understand the kind of intention you're going into this experience with. If you are really, truth be told, triggered, bothered, kind of like infused with rage, okay, or jealousy, and this, that, and any other, darling, you're doing black magic. You are. You are. Absolutely. You're doing it with the intention of harming somebody. You're already harming somebody. Just by leave all of the shit behind. Just the mere fact that you are producing this negative energy towards somebody, right? And your intention is, like I said, the scenario is such that there's a third party and you really wish them ill. And that's the energy you're going there with. Not like, let's just say I would do it where I don't give a fuck if there's a third party. That's not my fucking focus. I just want my man. Let's just say it like that, right? So I know, like me, Anna, I know that I don't have to wish anybody ill. I don't have to get mine before you get yours. I understand the principle of parallel realities and parallel timelines. Therefore, I leave the third party completely behind. Like, there's no fucking competition in that sense because this is my universe. Okay? In this scenario, I know that if I leave all this other stuff that I really couldn't give a fuck about, couldn't care less about who else is involved, right? This is really not giving a fuck, like totally unbothered. And my focus is purely squarely on getting my SP. The end. Wishing nobody ill. This is white magic. This you're doing really purely squarely. Okay? And it doesn't matter what you do in the, like, how you do it. Okay, whether that's you burn a candle. Okay, like side note here, really quick, I really wanted to say again, it just goes back to the first thing I said, intention. Like when you go to church, like some of you definitely go to church, okay, or synagogue. I go to church sometimes and to a synagogue, and you light a candle there. So then what? Is that witchcraft? No. Because, well, hopefully your intentions are pure there, right? I mean, who knows, actually? That's also, I guess, questionable in certain people's cases, now that I think about it. But you understand, it's not the act of what you do, it's literally what connects you. Like for me, again, going back to me, using me as an example, like I truly believe in lighting a candle and saying a prayer. There's a certain ritual around it, very peaceful, very comforting. So if you're lighting a candle and you're praying, in quotations, or literally like it's a prayer, the traditional sense of it, who gives a fuck? As long as, again, goes back to intention and the energy that you're sending out. Nobody gives a fuck what you do in the 3D as long as it's peaceful and benevolent. And if the state of power is brought about by some kind of way, everybody has a way. I've spoken and coached so many people in this department that just practice. It's not witchcraft again. They practice a certain meditation, like lighting a candle again, or lighting incense, uh, being with your dream, creating maybe a certain ambience, like certain scents. I know for sure for me, which is why only attracted to certain kind of incense, because I know that it will bring it about in me. This is energy work. Okay, when you are communing with God, with yourself, and you, whatever makes you feel good, okay? I mean, if you put like a bouquet of roses on your desk or table or wherever you are, and you just smelled that, and that gave you some kind of a communion with God, the universe, whatever, right there, you're creating white magic, if you want to say it like that. You're literally creating an energy there that will transport you. Yes, just something so simple as fucking roses can do that, man. If you're into roses, I don't know, maybe you're not. You know what I mean? But for me, like for example, that really would do it. Or like spring flowers, from you get the point. Okay? Something that really gets you in the zone where you feel your connectivity to God, to the universe, and you are reminded of you, yourself, your own being, your own soul, your own energy being all powerful. That's it. And here's the deal, okay? Those people who, I later found out all about this. Because truth be told, there is a culture of this, like in Russia when I was growing up, of, people who use this not so benevolently, let's just say, for purposes that I just kind of outline more or less, to get the guy, more or less, or to get the girl, which is so sad if you really think about it. And you know what? Side note here, I know for a fact that number one, when you send out some kind of malicious energy, of course it comes back to you, right? Inevitably, right? But then on top of it, your fucking spell work didn't work. Oh shit. It returned back to you. This is why black magic and witchcraft, which witchcraft, the way I use it is in a negative sense, is completely counterproductive. It will never work. The only reason I don't believe in witchcraft for this reason, the only reason you are affected by somebody's whatever is because you believe in it. That's it. They, like this person, however, you know what I mean? Like they cannot actually cause you harm. They can cause themselves harm in the process. Really. You know, all the while, yeah, it could be frustrating when somebody's like sending you bad energy and this and then the other, because if you are an empath, I know for a fact myself, I can read people's thoughts, especially when somebody's sending me bad energy or good energy for that matter, but I can read both, you know? And it could be like, wow, you know what I mean? Like I definitely now at this point, I know for sure. Like when there's no question in my mind, like the difference between my energy and somebody else's energy, let's just say. And I mean, it's so verbatim, meaning like I can even read the thoughts and the intentions, right? And the basic intention that this person is sending. But it's for me to accept, to be reacting to this, or to accept it as my own or whatever. I know enough now at this juncture, as I said, to just like observe it in a 5D, this formless bullshit. And I mean, yes, I can send it back, but by now, I know my protection is my own frequency, you know? And that actually, very good segue. Thank you very much. Is what, you know, I really want to stress here. So, going from one world to another, okay? When you are doing this correctly, when you are in other words, when your intentions are pure, and you're utilizing energy work, and again, whatever ritual that evokes pleasant feelings out of you. Like, I'll give you again an example. My grandmother, I don't know, she would collect some herbs, okay, some, I don't know, flowers, you know, field flowers, etc., and she would mix a potion. Like, who knows if, you know what I mean? But that's the deal. She had a recipe from her great great grandmother or some shit like that, and she would cook this on the stove and say a few like really, you know, nice words over it for the harvest for the next year, okay, during the summer, shit like that, you understand? So, but I mean, who gives a like, in other words, the herbs weren't it, the herbs weren't the recipe, but because she so believed, like, if she adds this herb and that flower and this da, 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 I feel like it's the process that made her really believe and nurture this feeling inside inside her, you know, the way that she experienced it. So I mean, like, in that sense, while we're on the topic, it's like if you wanted to go to an art store and get a bunch of, I don't fucking know, glitter, and you said to yourself, you know, when I mix pink glitter with silver glitter, something ridiculous like that, you know, and that makes me happy. And when I do that, my SP is running to me. Well, don't you know you would get your SP? So it's irrelevant what you do. It's just the mood that it brings about in you. And the second thing is, you know, why you do these rituals. Why do you sit in meditation? Why do you even script, right? Because you're trying to enter that world, because you're going with that feeling, which is why it is so important to realize what is your intention from the get-go, because the feeling that you will create during your practice, it's going to completely dictate the outcome. That's it. I just gave you everything, like, completely. Okay. So again, it matters not like what everybody else is doing. If you get up and say, okay, yeah, all of this I see, you know, but now I'm going to do the true magic, the true power of my mind. Okay. You're tricking your own mind basically with whatever practice that you're doing to produce that feeling of certainty, of being all powerful, and of being already in that world. Like, you understand, I feel it's really powerless. For example, to insist that somebody should repeat something 10,000 times. I think most of us agree with this statement. For you to evoke a feeling of certainty. A feeling of certainty is completely different. Would you agree? A feeling of certainty would be like, I have to only say this one time, That's how much power I have right now, energetically speaking, which you're building up, whatever your practice is, so that I can seal it into eternity, if you want to say it like that. Maybe twice, just to kind of memorize, because what you will write down, really like pumped up energetically like this, every fucking single word will come true. Now, side note here, okay? Just like what I just told you, where like the evil people doing their own witchcraft, it always comes back to them. And side note here still, you can tell who's doing that kind of shit, the malicious stuff, because you can always tell by the way that they look. I don't know how else to say it to you. There's a reason why like really dark witches are depicted the way that they are in folklore. Okay, looking really fucking old. Start aging very fast. Because all of that energy, it sucks you dry to do this kind of shit to others, or trying to do it to others. And that's why it comes back to you. But the second thing is, even if you're benevolent, right? Let's just say your intentions are pure, but big buts is that the person whom you're trying to connect with in that timeline, let's just say again, it's an SP, doesn't have to be, but whatever, or that event or whatever, okay, it's not divinely aligned. In other words, that person is a fucking asshole, okay, and you deserve better, like really a fucking asshole, which has happened to me, okay. I know listen, I've done this energy work thing for many many years now. I'm in my mid 40s. There's only a couple of times that it worked, I mean, but not at all. Not even a little bit it worked. And I was so puzzled during that time. However, now I understand, because both people were very, very toxic. It's a protection thing. It's not going to work on everybody because God and universe loves you too fucking much for it to work on the wrong people. And then maybe a follow-up question will arise in one of your lovely heads, listeners, and you can ask me, well, what about people, evil people who are getting away with a lot of evil stuff, right? That's the question people always ask. You know something? My personal experience and the experience of people close to me, like directly, that I have witnessed. Yeah, for some time, some people can get away with shit, but it always comes back boomeranging. And there is, again, such a thing as divine timing. And I know sometimes it's really uncomfortable, but if you're in a dilemma like this, trust that especially, it's kind of like, Joel Austin says, I really love this. It's the way that you wait. You can wait in faith or you can wait in fear. I think it's something like this, he says. So if you wait in faith and you just know from the get-go what you asked in the beginning of God, universe, what have you, to deliver from the situation, it will happen. You understand, in 3D everything is fucking slow motion, man. I'm just telling you, there's certain things you can't rush. It's impossible. Okay, it really is. Some things are just, it's gonna take what the fuck it's gonna take. And it is also my experience that when you do get on the other side and it does catch up to this person, and you get your vindication and whatever it is you're after, you will understand why it had to take as long as it did. And if you're patient, and if you take my suggestion, you will be grateful that it all worked out exactly the way that it did. Because had your prayer been answered earlier or sooner, you would just not derive as much benefit. Trust me, I know this from experience. So while momentarily, yeah, listen, being a human being is no picnic. Let's face it, we're kind of like in this 3D, and it's all very slow, like I said. And, sometimes things are arduous and uncomfortable and this, that, and the other. But remembering in these moments, these assignments that you place on your life, meaning when you're doing these proclamations to the universe, really powerful energetic transfer happens. And you should understand that this is not a game. In whichever way you're using it. I mean, in particular, if you're doing it in an evil way, good luck. Not really. No luck is going to save you. I mean, I'm telling you this right now. Okay. And I'm telling, even if you are jealous of the third party, even like maybe that's what's stopping you. How you like me? For sure, I can tell you. If you're wishing the third party ill, you're doing witchcraft. In which case, this is why your relationship doesn't work out with this person. But I'm telling you, okay? Now, imagine if it's worse than that. Imagine if you're doing somebody to spite them and this, forget it. Like, good luck is what I'm saying to you, right? Energy doesn't just go poof, and gone. No, it reverberates all throughout the universe and it comes back towards you as an experience for you. So my point is, like, when you're doing anything and you're concentrating your energy, like, your problem is not that you're not powerful. Okay, your problem is that you're so fucking powerful, you're just not paying attention. But when you do these powerful intentions and magic spells and so on, you better want what you're writing, okay? And it better be benevolent. Otherwise, I don't want to spook anybody, but you're just going to lose your divine protection. Though I didn't write the rules, okay? It will be completely stripped away. Your higher self will have the kind of like the ability to step away, and here comes karma. I've seen it happen with other people who, got it into their head that they could do things and just walk away, unscathed. No, it doesn't happen. Like, I don't even have to do anything. It'll just take care of itself in the ethers. And so being aware of the energy you send and you give to your intentions is ever so crucial. Don't sit down writing a magic spell, even if you're angry temporarily, even if you're fresh, like, cleanse, just completely cleanse. This is how important this is, and this is how powerful you are. Especially if you want to speed up your manifestations, like everybody's so, hung up on this shit. This would be job one, to examine, are my wishes, are my magic spells in line, well, with the golden rule, like Neville would say, right? Is there some intention behind it that is unjust and completely uncalled for? And I have absolutely, like, no business doing this shit, kind of deal. Again, example being, you can decide for yourself to have this guy, but you cannot decide to harm another being, because that has to do with their life. You can decide to have whatever you want for yourself, but going out and deciding for other, or trying to, or pretending to, that you can decide for another person, you can't do that. Your job is you and your desires, and you leave everybody else alone completely. Other people's business is not your business. Completely not. Okay? Nor is it necessary for it to be your business in any shape or form. So, in summary, it's just like an everyday affair. You wake up, you start thinking, you start sending energy. When deliberately sending out a lot of energy towards someone or something, make sure your intentions are pure. And from the time that you speak something into existence, write something into existence, just consistently make sure that it remains pure. Don't pollute your own fucking creations. You really, really are going to understand the importance of this going forward if you apply everything that I'm suggesting. You're going to skyrocket. It's going to be like you are going to be unparalleled. Other people are going to look at you. And as it happens to me sometimes, they're going to think that you're doing something nefarious. But that's the deal. You don't need to. You don't fucking need to. Only small minds think about doing nefarious things because they don't know another level of existence. But you do. Thank you very much for listening. All the information from me again is below. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.